Namaste, beautiful souls. It's Dr. Danny. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a magical day and living your best life. Oh my gosh. So, how's everybody doing? Today we are going to look at the transits that are occurring for the next couple of weeks, just through the end of the year. There's a lot of like death, rebirth, transformation energy, and there's three really important dates, and also just the position of the sun and the moon. We're having a new moon, we're having a solstice, and we're having the sun cross the galactic center. And today is the full moon. So all of this is coming in the next couple of weeks. And then I'm going to take you right into about the first week of January. But what I thought we'd do also is do a little Q&A. um, I'm feeling in a very philosophical mood at the moment. So my hope is that we can think about some of the things that are coming in the future, especially for this channel, for what you guys want to do. I thought we could maybe kind of think about that a little bit, and then also just kind of let you know what's coming up for us. So let's see, who do we have here so far? All right, looks like the sound is good. Thank you, Ultimas. Lori is here. Hey, Lori. Lori was hanging out with me in Decode Your Realities chat last night. It was a super sesh with Logan. Oh my gosh. Julie says, I love your little dolphin necklace. Thank you. Thank you so much. Diana from Mexico. Darius says, oh. Healing with Lily. Hi, everyone from London. Hello. Fellow traveler. Hello. Thank you guys for coming. I love doing these live sessions. This is a relatively new thing for me. I started doing lives back in May or January of this past year. I was really nervous about doing it. The videos that you might see prior to late spring, summer of this year is pre-recorded videos with a lot of agonizing. And then over the months, a little less editing, a little bit more kind of relaxing into it. And then, of course, doing the classes that I've been doing every month live with a group has also been very helpful for me. So now I'm here and I'm doing these lives, and I'm doing them very regularly. I enjoy them. I look forward to them. And when I get an idea to do a video, like I've told you before, it's like something supernatural is moving through me. It's like I just have to get it out and give it to you guys. So I appreciate you for coming and for listening to me, and I am grateful that what I share with you serves you in some way, and that you can live a soul-guided life and a happy life and enjoy your time here. So one of the things I thought that would do, and this might take a little bit of work, but I've never done this before. So I figured, since a lot of my videos, the format has been a teaching and then the transits, that maybe I would pull out of all those videos just the teachings and compile them. Some of them are technical teachings, like I show you guys little tips and tricks. Some of them are, spiritual concepts. So I thought if I could get maybe 2 or 3 compilation videos, something for y'all to watch over the Christmas week, because not that I'm going to be out celebrating, but I have to work. So I have to work the 22nd, 24th, and 26th. So I'll be pretty tired. It's usually pretty intense over the holidays in the hospital. So I won't be doing any lives the week after next, or the week after this week. So I thought I'd do that for you. And if you guys like that, or if there's anything else that you want to see, just let me know. Put that in the chat so that I can maybe think about that and put that together for you. Also, let's see, what else did I do? I went to the Renaissance Fair in Texas, in Ingleside, Texas, on yesterday. And it was interesting. Where I grew up on the East Coast, we had the Renaissance Fair that would go from like August to October. And the people that would perform at these Renaissance festivals would stay like on site in the city. And so you would get to know them. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a theater major in college. That was what my undergraduate degree was in. And so I got to know a lot of these people. and it was really, really fun. And so we thought, okay, cool, a Renaissance fair. Let's see how Texas does it. And it was interesting. It wasn't at all like what I remembered growing up, but it has potential. So thank you to anyone who knows the people that set that up. We appreciate it. And I did get a chance to shoot a bow and arrow. I also got to feed a little baby cow and a donkey. That was fun. And then we listened to some music, and then we left. But that was it. I'll post my bow and arrow video on YouTube next week because I think it's very Sagittarius. And after we go through these transits, we're going to watch the sun go through like into Sagittarius. So that was fun. That was interesting. And then also next week, not this coming week, but the week after, Christmas week, the time in between working, because I get so little sleep, is also a really fun time for like downloading and meditating and going into God mode, because my sleep is so sporadic. So what I'm hoping, and what usually happens, is that I will get a whole bunch of new downloads for new ideas, new teachings, new things like that. So that's mainly what next week is going to be for. This week we're going to do this. We're going to do a little Q&A, see where y'all want me to go, and then later in the week we'll do our last live until after Christmas. So cool. Yeah, they had turkey legs, Teresa. They did, but I didn't get one. I just had some French fries. I wasn't that hungry. Darius says Dr. Danny is a cute Smurf. LOL. Yes, thank you. I prefer to be called fun-sized. That's sort of the politically correct term for someone who is as short and small as I am. The Rubik's cubes that are in the okay. So fellow traveler says, teaching question, can you discuss the Rubik's cubes that are in the lower left corner of the charts? Yes. In fact, when we look at a chart in just a little bit, I am going to address that. So thank you for bringing that up. Teresa asks, was Jacques de Whipper there? No, but there were some cute characters. It was all right. It was a good attempt. You can't knock them for trying. So yeah. Let's see what else. Stellar Foundations. My mom has decided to join. So if you guys want to hang out with my mom, you want to join Stellar Foundations. The link to that is below. I thought also too, sometimes you guys throw me some super chats and I do appreciate that. But what I want to do today, if you're drawn to, this is not like a fundraiser, but if you are drawn to, I would much rather you donate to the Stellar Foundation Scholarship Fund. Okay. I've had a couple of really heartfelt emails, people, that are just really want to work with me, and I want to help them too. So if you guys don't want my whole course, but maybe you want to support my work and support these people and help them get a really good foundation for their astrology practice, this is where you want to send your gratitude. Okay, you don't have to, like I said, this is not like a fundraiser, but the link is below in the description. If you are so called, if you are so drawn, this is really going to be a unique experience, and it's going to be ongoing. It's meant to be at its core like a 13-week intense experience, but I realize not everybody can do that and get it all in 13 weeks. So it's something that I'm committed to repeating the lectures that go around it, so that we can really hone in on mastery of key points as you go through the 13 gates of the constellational zodiac. Okay. So if you guys want to do that, this is right here. I'm going to take it off because it's kind of annoying, but that's that. Oh, and then also for just another week or so, we're going to do 13% off all my readings. Some of you guys have taken me up on that, and it's been a lot of fun. I've actually done a couple readings today. So those videos will be ready tomorrow. And now we're going to do this. We're going to do the transits for the next 3 weeks. So don't forget about that. If you do want a reading, it's a great thing. It's a great treat for yourself for the end of the year. Or if you want to gift it to somebody, that's also nice too. People do that with me a lot. All right. Yeah, Lori's doing the class with us. Yeah, with my mom. I don't think she realizes how intense the work's going to be, but she'll see. We'll keep her motivated. Yeah, the first time we meet live as a group, it's we're gonna set everybody up with the software. So I think that's an amazing, unique piece because you're not gonna get a program like this with the software anywhere, at least not right now. I plan to create a whole bunch of mini-me's through this so you guys can get the software and teach other people to do it too. So, but right now we don't have that. So, if you're in it, you get the software and you get taught how to set it up, and we'll show you all the cool techniques so that you can generate charts and help people when they have questions and things like that. I did that today while I was working on charts. Somebody had a question, and I went ahead and just did a short little video for them because, you get to that point where you can do that. All right. Cool. Yeah, no, Lori, I was sharing it on the ticker so people can see that at the bottom of their screen. I mean, I can see it pretty big, but if you guys are looking on your phones, you probably can't. All right, all right. Let's see. A Mac version of the software. Yeah, so if you can get Parallels, you can run it on your Mac. Parallels is a separate thing. I'm not providing that, but I am providing the software. So, all right. Let's see. True Sky is the way. Healing with Lily, you're smashing it. Thank you, love. All right. Oh, Christine Yan is here. You were in Decode's chat last night too. I saw you. Yeah, man, he went on forever. I got sleepy. I had to go. Okay. Cool. All right, let me get into these transits. Guys, pull your free chart if you want. So you can ask me specific questions. Lori put the link in the chat there. So if you all want to ask me questions about your chart, after we get through the main transits, we can do some of that. Or if you guys want to ask me personal questions like where did I get my medical degree, or don't ask me medical questions, I can't answer those. But if you want to know about my thoughts or feelings about things, that's fine. Okay, let's share. Let's do this. The first thing I'm going to share with y'all is a little movie I made with Cosmic Watch. This is, I'm not getting any money from these guys, but they have a very nice little app that's about $5, I think. And you can download it onto your Apple products. And it's super interesting, all kinds of settings. And it shows you the actual sky. So I wanted to show you this movie I just put out, and I set it to, let's see. Let's see. So it's going to be set to 12:15, which is today, and then you're going to watch the sun speed through the sky, through the Galactic Center. Look at Venus speeding through Capricorn. There's Pluto. There's Mercury. It's Christmas. There comes the moon. This is the new moon at the end of the year. So I slowed it down a little bit for you. There it is. And then we speed it up again. That's New Year's. And so these are the transits that we are going to look at. Let's look at, you guys want to see that again? I do. Back it up. So here we go again. This is today, and I speed it up to 1 day per second. So this is the Sagittarius, the solstice, and then Christmas, and then our new moon. I hope you guys are like getting this. When you stare at this and when you think about the energies of these constellations, like where the sun is, where Mercury is, where Pluto is, this just profound power and energy that is in the middle of this galactic center as the sun moves through this. The sun does this every year, and it does it right around this time of year. So there is a going into a darkness energy, right? There's a shedding. After you first, you go through the Scorpius energy, which is all of that, the pains and the traumas and the medicine, the healing then takes place. And then there's the shedding. And that's where we're going. We're kind of taking everything off, letting everything go, going through the void, the darkness of this place in the sky, which isn't actually dark. I mean, the sun's right there right now, which is like our source. It's our life force, but the life force has to go through a shedding process to be renewed. And that's what this is. This is very biblical energy. This is very like, resurrection energy as you watch the sun traverse the galactic center. And then right here on the 18th is the day that it'll happen. So this is the perfection. And the very next day, we're in Sagittarius with the sun. Okay. So you can see Mercury is now direct behind the sun and swooping in. Mercury's already been through this space. We went this way direct, and then we went this way retrograde, and now we're direct again with Mercury. So Mercury's going through that deep space, as the moon is too. So you get this new moon, you get Mercury going through that space, you got sun going through that space. All of this is during, the solstice, the winter solstice, for those of us up here in the northern hemisphere. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, I can't even imagine what this feels like in the middle of summer, having the sun go through the galactic center. I don't know if you all have the same feeling, but up here in the northern hemisphere, our sun is literally up in the sky for some of us, depending on how far north you are, literally just a few hours we get daylight. And so it's a very dark time, a very contracting time. Everything's just kind of shrinking in. And then what do we do? What do we do? We get so excited about these holiday parties. We get so excited about these. We plan all these events that we have to go to and bring things to and buy gifts for, and all the stuff at work that we have to deal with. And then on top of all of that, our schedules get completely toppled over. Like, we work, we don't work. The kids are out of school. It's like all this chaos that surrounds it. And this is really a time where we should be not programming, right? Kind of letting all the things go. It's very weird to have Christmas, like a celebration right now. I could see it maybe a little bit later in January as the sun is starting to like, open up and the days are getting longer. And we've gone through that rest. I mean, I think we should definitely rest. Like there should be a holiday season, but not filled with all this programming. So, yeah. Sophia Brzezinski says it's absolutely beautiful in the South, a very special time. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. I need to go to Australia one of these days. It's just such an incredibly long flight, from what I understand. One of my girlfriends from medical school actually met her husband on a flight to New Zealand. She was going, I think, by herself to just have a trip by herself, and she was on the plane with this guy, and he turned out to be a pilot who lived in Australia. So she ended up moving to Australia and getting her license and her degree over there. Pretty interesting. Rach says it's summer here in Australia, and where she lives, it's very hot and humid. Yeah, but to have this powerful, like, energetic switch of sunlight, it feels very powerful here in the north with the sun sort of contracting and downward, where is the sun going to be swallowed by the darkness? So we have all of this that we're looking at and that we're dealing with. So I'm going to take you through that energetically, not just the sun, but also the other planets and what that might mean for us. And when we do transits, guys, we have to look at it as a dynamic energy. So instead of looking at a chart, for example, we would look at a time map. And when you run one of these in this particular software, you get the quick moving planets on the left here, making an aspect, which is the middle symbol, to the slower moving planets. And what's really cool is you can put your cursor right here, look at a chart, and watch it move. Now, don't look at the inner ring because that doesn't apply. There's no way to take this out, but just look at this outer ring and watch. You can see the sun moving. Right? You can see that movement through the galactic center. So there's the sun, moon, Mercury right there. So that's what we just watched on Cosmic Watch. And that's what we're watching on the chart right here. So in order to make this super helpful, I made a slide or two for us. And I made one particular slide, and this is where I'll address your question, fellow traveler, about the Rubik's Cube here in the bottom and what that means. Actually, you know what? I'll just show you right now, because when you look at a chart and you look at aspects, you're going to get the moon aspecting a planet. You're going to get these other planets aspecting the moon, and they're in order by speed and distance, I think, until we get to anything beyond so this is all planets, and then if you want to add other things, they get added to this. It's called an aspectarian. But like Jupiter, for example, will be in opposition to Mercury. So the faster planet will be making the aspect to Jupiter. Saturn is square to Mercury. Okay, so we'll touch on these aspects. That's basically what it does. You just kind of follow it over to where there's an aspect, and you look up, and those are the two planets in aspect to one another. When you see an A, that means it's an approaching aspect, meaning that this Mars energy is approaching a trine to Neptune. Whereas when you see an S, it's a separating. The moon is a separating trine from Neptune. And then this bar is an opposition. This little circle and dash is a conjunction. The square is a square. And then this little asterisk is the sextile. So that's what that does. You can have that or not have that. I like it to see how close they are. It helps me when I'm trying to figure out when the new moon is or when the full moon is. So, all right. Okay, here we go. So this is what we are dealing with. This is the time map for the next couple of weeks. I just grabbed that from the chart generator software and put it into this slide. And here's a list of the energies we're going to talk about. So Mercury is in Scorpio right now and is direct, and will be moving. Will actually hit the Galactic Center at the end of this. So basically, Mercury, our thinking energy, our mind energy, how we learn, how we talk, how we acquire knowledge, how we sense the truth, is in a direct motion now, repeating the steps of Scorpio that Mercury did about a month ago, and trine to Mars in Cancer retrograde until about Tuesday. And then that energy will fade off. Mars and Mercury together are so awesome. It's like your mind is just sharp. You can sit and think about things for hours. You can go deep. You can take action on it. You can make connections that you normally wouldn't make. It's actually really quite genius energy. So we're all sort of sitting in that right now. That's fading away. Mars in Cancer is typically considered a debilitated energy, but I don't know. I feel like it's more of an energy of protection. Cancer nurtures, right? Cancer is about the home. It's about mother. Maybe if you have Mars in Cancer, you're somebody that, really loves your mother or takes action for mother energies or cares for mothers. And that's okay. We need that. We need some kind of direct masculine energy in that feminine sign to take care, to take action, to protect. So Mars is very concerned with home and being centered and working on the self right now. So if you're doing action towards yourself, for self-improvement, for learning about yourself, for healing yourself, then this is a great time for you with Mars and Cancer. That Mars will support you in that. Any activities that you do towards that are going to help you. All right, Mercury's busy a little bit later, and we'll show that chart. We'll show that right here once we get to the days past Christmas. But the sun, right here on the 18th, the sun is going to enter Sagittarius, conjunct the Galactic Center, square both Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. So what does it mean when we have a sun square the nodes? Well, what's getting ready to happen is we are about to hit the midway point between the two eclipses, the one that we just had and the one that we're going to have in March. Okay, this is very important. 90 days from any eclipse is always a very interesting time. Eclipses are weird. It's one of the weird phenomenons in astrology. We don't always know exactly how they're going to manifest or what they're going to do. But you can be sure that something is going to get shooken up or flip or switch, or there's a portal, or it's almost as if something just disappears or reappears into your existence. They're really, really quite incredible. And so what happens, because they are an energetic sort of um, impulse, is that the waves from that impulse ripple outward, forward and backward in time, in shadow time, in orthogonal space, okay? In the ether. It ripples outward. And what happens is that the eclipse that's coming in March is rippling backward in time towards us and is converging right now in a square. And so are the ripples from the October eclipse, the September October eclipses. They are rippling forward in time to right now, into the real now that we're in. And this week between these two stars is when we are going to be in that space. So I'm going to pull a chart. We're going to dive deep into that because I want you guys to see uh, what energies might be reverberating for you. And how do you know that? Well, you have to look at where the nodes are and where they are in your houses, because when you experience an eclipse personally, it's typically related to the houses that they occur in. And they've been occurring in Virgo and Pisces in the constellational charts. So if you know that about yourself, then you know what houses, what areas of your life to look for the either disruptive events or there's something that you need to revisit, okay, or reanalyze. um, so here we have the sun in between these two eclipse points, in between those reverberation points at the galactic center, squared in Neptune, okay, which is, what is Neptune? Neptune's the cosmic shaman of our zodiac, right? Neptune sort of hangs out in a place where everything's really cool, and like really the only downside to Neptune, at least from our perspective, is that there's no discernment. Neptune doesn't live in a place where there's black or white, but both black and white are fine. Like all gray areas are groovy for Neptune. Good and evil is really not a thing for Neptune either. So, because where Neptune hangs out, both are one in the end anyway. And so we can be fooled with Neptune energy. We can be charmed. We can be illusioned. So we have to be very careful. This is a very vulnerable space for our vital force energy, being right in the middle of two eclipses, and then right at the galactic center, where we're basically stripped down to pure vulnerability, just pure essence, before we're reborn again in Sagittarius. So this is like a key moment here, and this will probably be Wednesday. Your day might go just fine. It really all depends on what's in your Ophiuchus, what's at your galactic center. My north node's there, so for me it's and it's in my 7th house. So what's going on with my destiny? What is what's pulling me towards expressing myself as this north node energy, which is north node in Ophiuchus, which 7th house is finding the savior within myself. So yeah, there's some profound spiritual energies going on here. Will I still go to work on Tuesday and be just fine on Wednesday? Yeah, probably, but it's still a really great time to kind of dive deep and sort some of that stuff out, really connect with source too. Venus, this is a nice transit. So if you guys, I misspoke on my last video. I said this was a separating transit, this Venus trine Jupiter, but it's actually approaching, and Jupiter is retrograde. Anytime these two are in a trine, it's just nice. It just feels really, really good. You feel like the universe supports you in your creative endeavors. You feel expansive in your creator energy, because Jupiter expands everything. Jupiter's in Venus's house right now, which is Taurus. So we're having a lot of it's like if you imagine like Jupiter and Venus hanging out together in Venus's house, there's just a lot of riches, a lot of spiritual abundance that can be gained here, that can also provide us solace and distraction from the tougher energies that we might need to be dealing with, the things that we're letting go of. So let's see. We have some questions coming in. Good. I'm gonna hit those. So keep asking them, keep putting them in there. So Jupiter, though, is doing some energy. So one thing I wanted to point out real quick about these transit grids is you see these lines. these are the line of a 1-degree orb, meaning 1 degree is a really tight orb, 0 degrees where the X is. That means they're that degree of aspect, that 90 degrees or um, 120 degrees or that opposition of 180 degrees is perfect right at the X. But the line is 1 degree of orb. And you can actually sense some of these energies well in advance. Like when I do my Venus transits, I usually, because we're really feeling into just Venus, I allow the transits to be about 9 degrees. So literally the whole month of June last year when Venus was close to the sun, like the whole month was Venus conjunct sun. So you can literally, because Jupiter moves so slowly, you can feel this Venus energy. You can feel it swelling as the week ends, and then you can still marinate in it for the rest of the transit, even though it only looks like a 2-day transit. But yeah, good stuff right here. So focus on this if anything else has got you sort of stressed out. Same for this Jupiter square Saturn. So this is just 1 degree of orb. These guys, this has been the theme of the last month or so, and it will continue into January, and especially this whole time frame. So Jupiter square Saturn. So you got this retrograde Jupiter in Taurus. Sometimes Jupiter can get a little lazy in Taurus. Like, oh, I don't really want to do all the hard work right now. But Saturn is coming in there saying, yeah, there's some responsibility that needs to be taken around this. If you want to expand here, you have to step into the responsibilities and the decision-making process around it. And I mean, I could think of a couple of things personally in my life that are going to be very relevant around this time that we might be expanding into, that we'll want to, kind of make sure we check our boxes, cross our T's, dot our I's, that kind of thing. Also, sometimes Saturn can be a little bit restricting on Jupiter. Jupiter will just want to expand and party in Taurus and hang out with Venus and just have a good time. But there's things that need to be tended to, that need to be taken care of. And if you use that constructively, it can really, really help you out a lot. So that is really the underlying energy, is sort of balancing the jovial, fun energy that we feel so good sometimes around this time of year with the responsibilities and the things that we have to take care of. Let's see. The next one. Okay, so this is during the peak of this Saturn and Jupiter square. We've got a couple of hits from Mercury and then a Venus energy with Uranus. And so what I thought I'd do is pop in to a chart and go over these particular transits with you, and just reiterate these stars. So this is when Sun crosses the Galactic Center and enters Sagittarius. This is the solstice on the 21st. So that's when that's when the daylight finally starts to get longer for us in the northern hemisphere, and unfortunately shorter for you guys in the southern hemisphere. But this is that pivot point. It's right here, the shortest day of the year for us. And then a week later or so, we've got the next new moon. Okay, so we've got all these sort of cycle resets right here. And then in the middle of it, we've got these hits from Mercury with Jupiter and Saturn in a square. So we're going to cover Mercury in Scorphucus opposed to Jupiter, and then Mercury square to Saturn. Venus in Capricorn square Uranus. And I put something on there, CD star. I don't remember what that meant. Maybe it'll come to me. And then Venus enters Aquarius, and then there's a Sagittarius new moon after that. So we'll look at all that. Let's look at this. Okay, here is let's see if I can do it this way. So here is the Saturn and Jupiter square, these two guys right here and here. So you have Saturn in Aquarius, and don't worry about the houses because this is just one particular random time during that day. But just so you can see the aspect. I actually lined it up perfectly to line up with my natal chart so that Taurus is rising. So you can pretend these are my houses. So basically I've got Jupiter on the ascendant in a square to Saturn in the 10th house in Aquarius. Saturn is restrictions, it's rules, it's limitations, it is it's government, it's like all the kind of heavy stuff. It's the end of things. Aquarius is futuristic. It's inspiration. It's, the higher mind. It's thinking futuristically. And so when we get Saturn, who used to be the ruler of Aquarius, in Aquarius, we've got this what are the rules for the collective that will benefit the entire collective, right? Isn't that what the theme's kind of been the last couple of years? Well, what's good for everybody? At the beginning, they tried to force all these collective rules on us that weren't really all that, you know, a lot of people said, yeah, it might be good for the collective, but it isn't good for everybody, during the pandemic. And we have to ask ourselves, how much of our individuality do we want to give up for the good of the collective? So that's been sort of an underlying theme of Saturn there in Aquarius. Jupiter, wants to expand, wants to like build and grow and bring abundance and opulence. And so these two working together constructively can really bring like a beautiful new future, can bring visions of a beautiful new future. And for me, it's kind of grounding the energy of who I am into what I do and how I'm seen in the public eye. So that's what this square has been for me, really kind of grounding in the energies. So, um, all right, then we've got, so that's that square. And with that, Mercury's doing a little bit of mischief here. We're in opposition to Jupiter. So there's this, like for me, it's first, seventh and first house. It's like the other versus myself. What am I channeling in? Is it spiritual? Is it truthful? What's the reason behind it? When I interact with others and on a personal level, is it to expand myself or is it to assist them? So there's a little bit of that going on with Mercury there. Mercury's in the middle of the deep, dark truth right now. Mercury in this space has been awesome for readings, for looking at astrology, for just being intuitive in general, and really getting to the heart of the matter when someone needs assistance and needs to think about something. Because when you're helping somebody like that, in that fashion, you're actually channeling source for them. You're being the sounding board for them, for that conversation that they might have otherwise had in the privacy of their own head. They're having it with you. And because Mercury's where it is, and if you're tapped into that, you can actually like be the voice of source for that person. So this is really cool. This is cool energy. But you don't want to overdo it. You want to rest. You want to take care of yourself. You want to get out there and you want to enjoy and do things that are good for you as well. So then Mercury is also in a square to Saturn. In fact, Saturn is T-squaring Mercury and Jupiter. So what are we doing here? What's the motivation? Is the motivation for this collective control, for this loss of individuality? Is it for the collective good? Is it coming from source? Is it coming from a place that's true and authentic and for people? Or is it coming from a place of control and restrictions and victimization, injury, falsities? So that's an intense energy. And on a personal level, like this is just sort of getting through some of the last minute like lunar cycle energies that we need to release and shed and let go of so that we can get ready to set new intentions for the new year and for the new lunar cycle. So we may be feeling some of that. On top of that, we've got a square with Uranus and Venus. So this is a tension. When these two get together, it can manifest in a lot of really unique and interesting ways, especially when it comes to relationships. We might find ourselves either befriending or having a relationship with people we never thought we would, different types of relationships. All of that is possible when Venus and Uranus get together. But also new creative ideals, new creative concrete energies, because with Uranus and Taurus, it's about what are we grounding into the earth? What is that individual spark of us that is being grounded and being visualized? For me, it's like on my ascendant. So it's coming out as the unique version of myself through a creative process that's also tied to wisdom. It's ninth house. Okay. So there's this creative wisdom that I'm trying to pull through. I'm trying to help people along on their path as an astrologer. So this is the square for me. This is unique. I never thought I would do this. I never thought I would be in this position in my whole entire life growing up. I thought maybe I'd be an astronaut or maybe I'd be an actress, but never thought I'd be helping people the way I do now with astrology. It's almost more impactful sometimes than the work I do with medicine, although sometimes I do tend to minimize the accomplishments around that. So yeah, here we go with that square. And then you can see in general this beautiful trine kite with Mars, Moon, and the lunar nodes. This is a quick hit on the 27th, but this can feel very nice for getting back to the roots. Moon is ruler of Cancer, so this is a nice combination. Grand trines just flow. And so there might be some really nice healing work that we can also do around this time. So, and I think the healing work, which I don't know why it doesn't show up in these transits. I think my settings are off a little bit. But Black Moon Lilith is very much involved in the sun's transit as well. It's in a square. It's conjunct the south node. And so that allowing that creative energy, that untamed, wild, divine feminine energy to flow up and out and to be a creative soul. That's what we're all here to do, to heal those wounds and to come out as creators, to not have to worry about so much about survivals, to lay claim to the abundance that is inherently ours as creatures of source. You know what I'm saying? So once all this energy passes, we'll have Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. This will be after the new year. Once our calendar switches and the new moon is over, this opposition will happen for the second time. We get a third pass with Mars opposed Pluto just a few weeks later when Mars goes direct again. But this opposition allows for surgical action on whatever it is that you need to act on from your basic, deep, authentic self. So whatever it is that you need to take care of, you will have the ability to take quick, surgical, and thorough action to recreate, to destroy and recreate whatever it is that you need to do. So this is a process through here. All this shedding, going through this darkness of the season, you know, along with the lights and the celebration of Venus trine Jupiter, we get like several cycle resets right here, including the calendar year. And then the new year, it's time to take action. It's time to do what needs to be done. And I feel all that. I feel really good with all that. And then, of course, Sun is going to sextile Saturn right after that and during that. And then Mercury will square onto Neptune. So we just want to make sure that, what we're doing comes from an authentic place, comes from a responsible place, that the work we're doing is going inward and finding that true self. And if we're finding that we are over programmed, this is the whole point of going through this, you guys, is to back off, to take the hint from spirit, to do the healing that you need to do. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you guys. Let's see what you all want to talk about. Hopefully you're pulling your charts, because if you're looking at those transits and you're looking at the chart from the 27th, you can see if you see where the Galactic Center is. If you look in your own chart and look where the Galactic Center is, then you know exactly what house it's in. So all this is 7th house for me. This is like relating to other, to seeing the good and the bad outside of myself and owning that, all of it. Like, even the stuff I don't like, owning that too. So that's what that is for me. So what is it for you, right? What if your Mars is there, if your sun's there, if your sun's there, then happy birthday, by the way. But yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see. Lookup says holidays are hard for me. I feel like I'm discovering Scorpio and a Fucus energy. Yeah, it comes out of nowhere sometimes too. Let's see. I feel like I can't see those questions. Let me look over here. Oh yeah, and Darius, thank you for bringing that up. Chiron goes direct on the 29th of December. So, yeah, if you haven't been working on those wounds, they're going to surface a little bit. I feel like when planets go direct, they're harder. Okay, let's see. Darius asked, what do you see with Pluto just about ready to enter Capricorn? Very interesting how its 20 plus year cycle lines up perfect with the Phoenix and the Nemesis returns. Yeah, 2040 is an interesting year. That's when Pluto will enter Aquarius. So we'll spend the next 16 years transiting through Capricorn. I was chatting with my chat GPT the other day and I was asking it, so I was asking all these questions about the future and it kept bringing up 2040. And I was like, why do you keep saying 2040? I even asked it that, like, what's the big deal with 2040? And it actually brought up the Phoenix phenomenon from Archaic's research. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, Pluto. So what Pluto's been doing in Sagittarius? What is Sagittarius? What is that energy? That is spiritual horizons. That is our deep wisdom. That's our esoteric wisdom. That's our long distance journeys. And how long has Pluto been going through Sagittarius? Probably the last 15 years, 15, 18 years. And I don't know about you guys, but 15, 18 years ago, the beliefs that I have now are 180 degrees different than they were before Pluto came through Sagittarius and my eighth house. Like literally, I might have walked in. I don't know. I just remember this person's past. Like it's completely different, the things that I believe. And so what necessarily happens, and again, this is the ether magic, okay? All these beliefs and systems have been fundamentally changed from like, where do we get the beliefs from? From our knowledge. Our knowledge has changed. Truth is everywhere right now. You can't lie. You can't lie about anything. People see right through you. You can't even fake it. Uh, and so now that people can see that, they're going to expect that from the things that they receive. It's inevitable. And you're going to expect a certain vibrational spiritual level from the larger structures that you engage with, and that includes your schools, that includes your religious structures, that includes your governments. Okay, so all these beliefs that have changed in you as a collective are going to necessarily change the structures, and as Pluto transforms that through Capricorn, that's when you're going to see things that are not resonating with you fall away. And so if you as a collective decide that what we're learning in the schools is not okay, you're going to change it. It's going to be different. And if those systems do not want to come along because there's egos holding on to them, they're going to be destroyed in very quick fashion. And so I don't think it's not a traumatic process. This is not catastrophe as far as Pluto sees it. It's just we're getting to a more truthful place with Pluto. So it'll be interesting to see how it manifests. I know going through my eighth house was just amazing. So like everything, and now we're going into the ninth house. And so I feel like there's this whole other level that Pluto's going to take me in a spiritual sense because of it transiting through my ninth house for the next 15 years, 16 years. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a blazing ball of fire coming through in 2040. I'm not really worried about it. Let's see. Lily says, the full moon, sun, black moon, Lilith, and Venus made a cross in the sky, the symbol of Christ consciousness and huge divine feminine upgrades. Absolutely. And it's nothing to be scared of. Like, this is not like the angry, feminazi type energy. This is literally the suppressed creative energy that's been stifled in all of us because we've been made to believe that living in fear and lack is the way it is, and it's not. We are like all the other creatures of this earth, swarming in abundance. We just don't use it right. House of Time says, thank you for acknowledging the need for internal time now. I heart hibernating. I do too this time of year. I don't like a lot of stuff. The more stuff I get a little fussier. I just can't do it. Let's see. Rach says she'll shoot for a beer if I come over to Australia. All right, cool. I haven't had a beer in a long time. Christine asked if I have a Telegram channel. I never did get into Telegram. I almost did, but then they wanted my phone number. And I was like, I can't do it. So yeah, I am on Rumble. I am on YouTube. I do have a X account, but I think I've only posted one thing. Maybe I'll post more things. Maybe I'll do that this year. Maybe that'll be part of my New Year's resolution to be more Xy, more Twittery. I didn't like it when it first came out because you could only type 5 words. And I'm like, what's the value in that? And then I just never got into it. 42, 43 beautiful souls here. Yes, yay. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here and supporting us. And let's see. Healing with Lily says, what planet would you say rules Ophiuchus? I know Chiron is said, but wondering if you feel there's an actual planet. Gosh. Well, I like Chiron because Chiron was the immortal with a mortal wound. I think it was his heel. And this wound was so painful. And he was sort of fated to live an eternal life with a horrible wound, in pain, suffering forever. He begged for death. So this is very much sort of that martyr suffering energy that is Ophiuchus, that whole Scorphiuchus energy where the two are blended. Because through that suffering, you realize that you don't actually, when you can overcome suffering, when you can have pain but overcome suffering, we're always going to have pain. There's always going to be something that's painful, but we don't have to suffer. We don't have to be a victim. We don't have to be woe's me. And I think Chiron teaches us that. I think when you can get that place, when you can be okay with that, then that's very Ophiuchian energy. Let's see. Texas Star Duskdany is here. Hi, better late than never. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. LSD. Plutastic. Let's see. Mongol Rex says, hey, Doc. Hey, everyone. May 5th, Saturn comes back across the ecliptic in Virgo Leo. Then look out for the Saturn moon conjunctions to commence the terraforming. I don't know what that means. You mean on Mars? Christina asks, how do we check our Pluto in Capricorn placements? Oh, you mean where Pluto is right now? Yeah, we can do that. Let me show you. Super easy. I want to pull up my website here. So, let's see. Can I use your chart, Chris? Do I have your chart, Christine? I'm going to just show you how to do it, and then you can do it. That's what I'll do. Okay, so you go to drdanny.com/free chart or Mastering the Zodiac. This is where I got the code for this. They provided it, so we're thankful to them. But you could put, so let me, for example, I'll just put my birthday in here, 04 August 1974 01:30. So you just put that in there. And then what I'm going to do with this chart that pops up is I'm going to look for that cusp. So where is Pluto? Pluto's right here between Capricorn and Sag. So we're finishing up an 8th house transit with Dr. Danny. This is Pluto. So for you, if you're the same age as me, then it's probably the same. Like if you were born between 70 and 74, it's probably this. Well, I guess the time would be different too. If you had Taurus rising, then it would be in your 8th house too. But if you have this line right here, let's say for example, let's change my birth time because that's why birth time is important. You can watch what happens to this chart. If I change my birth time to just a few hours later, then we are beginning a 7th house transit of Pluto. Okay? So it really just depends on like what your ascendant is, what your birth time is. Yeah, like if I was and let's flip it around and we'll do a day birth. I wonder what I would be like if my son was up here. But yeah, so then Pluto would be down here in my 4th house if I was born at 12 o'clock. So it depends on what time you were born for the house. And then don't forget, like if you know where your Pluto is, then look across the chart and see what's over there, and that's where Mars is right now. So the Mars Pluto opposition for someone with my birthday is dealing with this sort of Cancer Capricorn deal right here. So for a person born at 12:30, it would be 4th and 10th house. Does that make sense? So let's see. 4th house to 9th house. Lori says, you can ignore this question, but how do you feel about Mary Magdalene? You know what? I'm going to tell you that I am not very read up on the historical documents of these characters that we have in our current theology, mythology. I'm not. She represents divine feminine. She represents and because she's got sort of a hidden past, a hidden history, of being the wife of Jesus and having children and stuff like that. It embodies that archetype of the suppressed feminine. It's that story that's been suppressed for 2,000 years. That women have birth, that women give birth to children, and they're beautiful because of it. House of Time says, what are you on Rumble? I'm Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. Oh, Lori put the link up. Thank you so much. Let's see. Derry says, I look forward to meeting you in another Archaic Future event. Yeah, I'll go to Houston again. That was cool. Rach says, it was such a big weekend for me spiritually and mentally. My natal moon is in a fucus. So, oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Big weekend. Big week for you with the sun too. Yeah, Christine, I would run your chart and see what house that cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn is to feel where your Pluto transit is going to be. And if you're 75, you're about to have a Pluto trine Pluto transit. It's magnificent. It's going to be amazing. House of Time says, are you going to have your own meetups? I guess so, maybe. I mean, I'd love to meet everybody personally and get their vibe. It was really cool meeting the Archaics family. I had this vision of Jason in my mind as this kind of tall and scary person. And when I saw him, he was just warm and wonderful and amazing. So, I mean, the way we look on screen is different than the vibe we have in person. So let's see. Julie asked me, do you have any experience with human design? I had mine calculated with my tropical astrology, but now I'd like to know how it calculates out with the sidereal chart. Yes, I actually know somebody who does cosmic human design, and his name is Jared. And I have your contact. I can email you his contact information. Yes, and he will do it. He'll do the cosmic human design, and then he'll separate it out with the 88 days, like before you were born. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So with my human design, I am a generator. But with my cosmic human design, I'm a manifestor generator. So that's all I know. It's really complex. And I feel like it's something I could completely get lost in. But I think my next intellectual indulgence is literally going to be the decoding work with the alchemy and the playing cards. I've had a stack of tarot cards with me all the time. I always play with them, but I've never actually like worked with them in my professional work. And because of the alchemy and the numerology, I feel like I could. I feel like that's a really nice bridge to do that. Um, so yeah, that'll be my next intellectual indulgence, and human design's part of that. And so I may look into that at some point this year too. Yeah. Garden Goddess says, I saw you at the event and could get over to you. I really look forward to meeting you at the next meetup. Well, you should have. You should have just come up and said hello. A couple people did that. I made some nice contacts. Lori says, I'm trained in retreats, so I'm putting that out there. Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. There's a potentially a place for that coming up in my future. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. But this week will reveal whether or not something like that's going to move forward. Yeah, I mean the retreat we did with the Lilith Lounge. It's a group I'm with. It's a group of like these women that are just kind of spiritually and emotionally supporting each other through all of our crazy emotional, hormonal, astrological transitions. And we did a retreat, and it was spectacular. It was just the five of us. So yeah, I'd totally be like down with all that. Yeah. Oh, if Danny wants to do an interview, I can show you how to take your human design sun with who can help you the most, like where you shine. It's fun. Oh yeah. Julie's an emotional projector. Garden Goddess said that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, even if we just like meet up and hang out and do each other's charts. Sedona, New Mexico. Yeah, lots of cool places. The Domes was pretty neat. I mean, that was in High Rolls, New Mexico, right outside of Alamogordo. Not easy to get to, but very, very cool place. Cool. Well, so let's see. What's coming next this week? Working a little bit, and then I will probably have something for you guys at the end of this week. And then I'm going to do some compilation videos. Darius says, did you say Chicago? Fellow traveler says, Lake House Retreat. Man, you are just taking it out. I can't hide anything from you guys, I swear. Yes, that's happening. Christine, you own 2 salt caves? Get out of here. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Do you like sleep in the salt cave, or do you just hang out and meditate in it? House of Time says goblins? I don't know what goblins is. Cool. Look at all these retreat centers everybody's creating. That's so great. Ooh, ET contact. That's a good question. You know what? I am probably one of the few people on earth that would be like, "Yes, come in. Do you want a biscuit and some lemonade? Like, come in." Um, and I've never seen one. I've never even been like, I've never even suspected it based on what I've seen in the sky. So, no, I have never seen any ETs. I would be thrilled. I think it would be really cool. Y'all, I've been getting into some very deep and interesting esoteric material on YouTube lately from this guy called Library of the Untold. Oh my God, it's amazing. And one of the videos that I got into recently was about plasma being the fifth state of matter. And you might have to like go back a little bit to find the videos I'm referring to. I might forward some links, but yeah, it's very interesting. They were able to, so what they were able to do is do these experiments with plasma, shooting frequencies at it. And what they would get is these really beautiful geometric forms that look like the cave paintings of, the guy that's got his hands up like this and the legs are down like this and there's the dot on either side of the stick figure. And this represents sort of the toroidal field that's created with these patterns. And what they found when they were trying to experiment with this plasma that they created was that it had a little bit of sentience. It could make decisions. It didn't like being messed with. And what came from that, the experimental results, this guy was able to tie in some other plasma experiments. Um, these two ginormous blobs of space dust that are in our orbit that are at triangular degrees to the moon. It's a perfect isosceles triangle. So if you have Earth in the center, you've got moon, blob, and blob, and they're it's plasma creating dust in our own orbit. And they might actually be sentient. They might actually be some kind of like life form. And so then we go down sort of the intellectual rabbit hole train there, like, well, what if these plasma structures, these drone sightings are these plasmoids, these just pieces of this greater body. It's super interesting if you think about it. But I don't know. I don't think they mean us harm. I don't feel like we are in danger here. So I don't know. But I can see how technology associated with ETs, may help us, may hurt us, and maybe that's why it's been kept secret. But it'd be really great to actually like have some of that technology, wouldn't it? Like I think we're owed that. I've heard some podcasters talk about like we have a lost century. Stephen Greer says it. There's a lost century of technology because what we were supposed to get in some deal in the early 19th century or 20th century, it didn't actually come through. Like it ended up being taken and hidden by our governments. And so we as a people have suffered because we've been given a little bit of the technology, but not the energy that's needed to support it, which is also available, but they've kept that hidden. So, all right. Goblins Valley State Park, Utah. Utah is actually one of the next places I want to go to just for the scenery. Yep. Well, Diana, sometimes some people are actually saying that those experiences that you're describing with the abduction was actually done by those that have the technology and shouldn't. Not the ones that actually gave us the technology. Kind of relating to the underworld energy that Darius is talking about, because they're able to do things that we might perceive as magical because we don't have that technology here. Either way, that experience sucks, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But I feel like what we're heading into is some sort of, I don't even know. I mean, coming to Jesus comes to mind, but like it not like that. It's like we're going to be told things that like we didn't even imagine were possible. We're gonna be like, "Wow, really?" You know, like, "What?" And so it's gonna be very interesting to see how people react to the news. I think a lot of people won't even believe it. So yeah. Alright, guys. Well, if y'all don't have any more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of my evening. Hopefully, the transits help you through these next few days. Hopefully, you, spend some time going inward, really finding out, what is authentically yours, what you need in the next year or so. Like, what is this next year going to bring you? This is the week to do it. It's not the 1st of January. It's this week. So, yeah, maybe we'll think about so it looks like we're thinking about maybe a meetup at some point in the next year. That would be a lot of fun, little retreat. See if we can do that. And then, we'll have some compilation videos here in the next few weeks. Um, if you guys want to help out the scholarship fund for those interested in stellar foundations, that would be great. I've also added a 6 and 12-month payment option for that, so you guys can make those first payments a little easier if you wanted to join. It's really going to be amazing and spectacular. I mean, my mom's in there. Like, how can it not be amazing? So, all right, you guys. I love y'all so much. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a magical, magical day. And I will see you later this week. Okay, y'all take care. Thanks. Bye.